Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TSD. So it's time to talk a bit of Band-Maid, who I've seen twice in the last 2 days live. So that's a rather interesting place to start this one from. But okay, so this episode, there's a couple of things that really kind of the reason why we're going into this. First of all, is the fact that obviously Band-Maid are really gearing up for 2025. They've got a lot of activities. They've announced a new single that will be coming out in January, and a new EP will be coming out in May. And they've announced a new tour. Now, they've announced the Japanese dates of the tour, but not the international ones. And we've been saying for a while, we wanted to catch up on a video that we recorded 19 months ago.
19 months, Jesus.
19 months ago, we did a video where we were talking about when will Band-Maid return to Europe? And we were like, oh, it's got to be soon. It's going to be soon. It's going to be soon. And here we are 19 months later. And I think a lot of people were hoping this announcement would be them announcing the European tour coming up. Now, there's been a lot of people talk a lot about, Band-Maid not going to Europe. So I don't want to sort of like beat around all the grievances and stuff of, oh, they haven't come, blah, 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 blah. But I'm just kind of intrigued to talk a little bit about where we want them to tour, what things we expect, just kind of a little bit of a talk about 2025 for Band-Maid. And yes, we will obviously talk a little bit about the lack of European dates, and we will talk about it all from the perspective that we're hoping they're about to announce those European dates finally. So
I hope so. In my Discord, we were joking, like the 1 year I actually start planning to go to Japan, the maids come to Europe. I mean, that would be just poetic.
That would be fantastic. That would be everything I've dreamed of.
Baby Metal is also coming to Europe when you go.
I just realized, I'm back on using the little laptop camera, and I've just realized it looks so terrible. I wonder if it's just that I never clean the laptop camera. Let's see if it suddenly looks better.
Watch it not suddenly be super clear.
It's better.
It's better.
So it's just because I got like one of those little camera covers, so that when I'm doing all my terrible, awful private things, when I'm not on chat, I can cover it up. So the trolls can't see me.
Don't get into that.
The FBI don't know who they're hunting for. We know your internet history.
So
yeah, well,
realistically, what are we looking forward to? What's our expectations? There's a lot coming up for Band-Maid next year. Another active year.
I mean, greatest expectations. I know you don't want to get into that much, but please, Europe tour.
Yeah. Well, no,
we still don't know. We only know there's a tour announced. What do we actually know about it? We know there's some Japanese dates already announced, but the rest of it, we just actually have no idea what it's going to be. It could be US. It could be anything, right?
Let's start by addressing the elephant in the room then, which is that I know a lot of people have said this, and we're talking about people who are genuinely diehard, long-standing Band-Maid fans, because I think you'd have to be a long-standing Band-Maid fan to really recognize how long it's been since they've been to Europe. But I think there are a lot of fans who are like, this is the time they've got to announce these European dates. And I think the one thing a lot of people are saying is that if they don't announce the European dates, they'll get over it so long as it's not just like hundreds of American dates. Because I think everyone's kind of feeling it's more. I think that's the main thing. I think people are feeling a little bit aggrieved by the number of American dates. And I do get it. I think it's good business. I think it's more profitable to tour in America. I get all of that. But yeah, it is just the fact the European fans were there throughout COVID, stuck with them.
Why is it more profitable in America?
I'm taking the things I've heard from American friends, so I don't know this firsthand, but apparently it's like cheaper to do that, and there's lots of taxes and things for like gigging in Europe. I don't know. I don't follow the European scene, but some people have told me, and this might just be total bullshit, but I've heard, and I'm willing to trust them. They say that, it's less profitable to tour in Europe. I don't know, but your fans are there, which means that they'll
actually want to believe that, because that would be a legitimate reason for them not coming, not just they like US more than Europe.
No, I'm sure there is a legitimate business reason, but there's also, like, even if you tour in Europe at a loss, you'll get that gain from keeping your European fans happy because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Europe loves Band-Maid. So,
like I said, if Hannah B can do it like twice already, then there's no reason why fucking Band-Maid can't at this point.
That does seem to be the most awkward light, is the number of other bands who've been over. That seems to, if it wasn't for that, again, that would be one of those things. If it wasn't for that, I think we'd be able to go, well, but there's so many of their contemporaries have been in Europe.
I've even seen Love Bites here, and I just had to drive like 2 hours So
Yeah. I mean,
Band-Maid,
Love
what's
Bites
up?
came to London and then loved it so much they came to London again. For fuck's
Yeah.
sake! So,
I mean, I'm really playing devil's advocate here because, like I say, I've been really, hands in the air, like what's going on. But I'm gonna try and defend this decision. I'm gonna find all the defenses I can for Band-Maid having not been to Europe, even though I'm as much confused by it as everyone else. But and it's also, again, like band decisions. Sometimes people really apply it to the band, but obviously it's a business decision. Like a lot of the time, the band doesn't go, "Oh, we're going to go on tour here." Like the company says, "Hey, we've got some dates we can book you into here," and the band just go, "Cool." So they might not even be thinking about that.
Yeah.
They might just be like, the company goes, "Hey, you guys want to tour in America this year?" And they go, "Yeah." But yeah, I think we're at the point where someone's got to be looking. It's like, "Do you remember Europe?" It's like Europe's
Yeah.
like Narnia.
Do you remember
I
there
think
are
it
other
exists.
places
Right?
as well?
Someone get a globe out. Let's check it's still there.
I mean, it's getting to the point now where whenever like Band-Maid release anything on YouTube or whatever, or Twitter or X or whatever it's called, I'm never going to call it X. It's just so crap.
It's Twitter.
No, it's Twitter. But, every time they post something, like, there's just the comments are all just like, "When you coming to Europe? When you coming to Europe?
Yeah.
Europe, please, Europe." So they can't be like unaware of it at this point. Like Howard said, he hit the nail on the head. I don't mind if they don't come to Europe, as long as they like don't go to America. And
it's no hate on the American fans. It's just
like
dudes, you've had plenty of chances to see.
Yeah. The Americans have had you've had like 2-3 tours in like the last 4 years now. Like if they came out and they went, "All right, we're doing like an Asia tour," and they go to like Korea and the Philippines and stuff like that, I wouldn't even be mad at that. I'd be like, "Oh, all right, okay, that's fair enough." An Africa tour,
Band-Maid Africa tour,
an Africa tour. I'd be like, "Yeah, okay." The African bands.
Yeah. If you live in Africa, you really get screwed.
Yeah,
a lot of Africa tours I heard of.
Hey, there's got to be a reason, but I'm sure it'd be great. But I mean, the one thing I would say, I'm playing devil's advocate to a degree, but the one thing I would say, just to cover off a comment I've heard, I've heard some people say, and it's true, like I went to the Band-Maid show, the 2 Band-Maid shows at Zepp Canada, Monday, Tuesday, and while we were there was a lot of overseas fans, and that's great. And it is true, a lot of European fans come to these as well. And it is great to see them traveling to see Band-Maid. It's great to see such a mixture of people. But it is true that the only ones who are seeing Band-Maid at those shows are the ones who can afford the time and money to fly from Europe out to Japan. And because I mean, like, I'm talking to 2 people here who are definitely Band-Maid fans. And so they're not at these gigs because they're not fans enough. They're not at these gigs because, not everyone can afford that. And you don't want your band to become a country club where only the rich people can attend. So only the rich Europeans see Band-Maid. Everyone else stays in their port.
And Americans.
Well, no, they don't have to travel because Band-Maid to come to them.
Yeah,
but
true.
Anyway, I'm supposed to be playing devil's advocate. I'm supposed to be defending them.
Do you know?
Right.
Have they ever been part of like some rock festivals in Europe, like Rock and Park, or I don't know, Wacken maybe? I know it's more metal, but still.
I'm not super sure about that. I mean, probably because it's a few years ago, but I don't honestly know if they ever did the festival circuit, but I'm pretty sure they might, because I've seen videos of them in Europe. I've seen videos of them at festivals, but I can't be sure if I've seen them at a festival in Europe. So I've got to be honest, I can't be 100% sure if those 2 things have happened, but I mean, I'm sure they would be open to it. I can't imagine.
It's also weird because we've seen Hanabi, we've seen Baby Metal, we've seen a lot of these Japanese artists also covered on like European tours, like these huge festivals. So why not Band-Maid?
Okay, so let's take a positive angle on this, which is basically, what do you think if? Let's assume that they're going to announce some European dates, which they could well do. Hopefully, by the time this video comes out, they've got European dates on there, and hopefully, this is going to make this video super dated. I really hope that's the case. So let's now assume Band-Maid have just announced
on the page.
Yeah, Band-Maid, they're coming to Europe. Okay, so let's talk about their upcoming European tour because it's going to happen. What awesome things do you think are going to come from them touring in Europe? How is that going to improve the Band-Maid brand? What awesome things are going to happen? 2025, Band-Maid are coming to Europe. So do you think the European market is like listening to a lot of those kind of bands now? Do you think they're more European?
Yeah, I think over the last 2-3 years, I think seeing like again Hanabi do the circuit a couple of times, seeing Love Bites come now, seeing a lot of other bands. all coming into Europe. I mean, you see even artists, pop artists like Ado and stuff like that, all coming regularly now over to Europe. So the appetite and the hunger for these type of artists, it's definitely there. That's undeniable now. If you would have asked me like 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, maybe even before the pandemic, I might have been like not too sure. Like maybe only the top bands like X Japan or something like that have been around for a while. Scandal maybe would only have the appetite. But I think the music industry over the last 5, 6 years has definitely shifted, has definitely changed, to the point where, yeah, I wholeheartedly believe that you could get your Anos, your Ados, your Band-Maids and stuff like that around these circuits now. I think it's entirely possible.
When you saw a lot of these other bands in Europe before, I'm guessing they were gaining a lot of new fans. So you think that when Band-Maid arrived, they're going to get a lot of new fans as well in Europe?
No, I think they definitely will. They'll definitely get new people, possibly. But I think Band-Maid are already kind of like well established.
So your answer is definitely possibly. Nice.
Definitely,
like
possibly.
Leon says, it's because most of us already love Band-Maid and we're just waiting for them to come.
But when like you went to see Baby Metal or Love Bites, you went with people. There were people there who were like, "Oh, this is the first time I've ever been. I saw them online, and they were buying merch. Like, oh, I can't believe they came here." And you were seeing like that for Japanese bands, right?
Yeah.
So when Band-Maid arrived, they're going to get a lot of this, is what we're saying.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I like again, but I think like Baby Metal
kept this up.
I know, like Baby Metal. I think Band-Maid are like, no offense to any of the other bands we've just mentioned, but I think Band-Maid is in that tier with Baby Metal where they're just like insanely popular no matter where they go. They've got that already established fan base, I think. So when they come, I think it will be slightly different from like, I don't know, like Love Bites maybe, that are still trying to garner that reputation a little bit, that are coming maybe doing smaller gigs just because, you know, they're trying to attract more attention to themselves. I think Band-Maid, you know, hypothetically could just come in, kick the doors down and go, "We're here," and people will show up.
I think they got a name and image that I said this before. I think the whole name and image is the sort of thing where even like just cold getting new people, they can just say the name and people will be like,
yeah,
I got to hear this. What, Band-Maid? Okay, I've got to hear this. Show them a picture and they're going to be like, I need to know what that sounds like. I think that's the genius of the Band-Maid like marketing aspect, is that even someone who doesn't know anything about it will just be like, play me a song. I need to know what this is.
Yeah.
And I love that. So I think this is like, I think when they arrive in Europe next year, they're going to get a lot of people who are going to be just curiosity turning up. Like, all right, there's a band called Band-Maid, but they're from Japan. What the hell is this? They're going to be like, oh, I got to check that out. So,
you know, maybe
they
could, I'm not sure which group would be fitting for that, but maybe do some combined tour with another group that's already that is a Western European rock group, and I think that would be a great way to open it.
I thought you were going to open it up for Neki or Trident then, but no, you had to go and get them Western groups in, didn't you?
They're cool groups, but they're not really known in Europe. I'm not sure. You know, something like, I'm thinking of the Sabaton tour with the Baby Metal, and I think like a majority of the Sabaton fans. No, but really, I think a lot of like the majority of people going to that show were Sabaton fans, and they were like, have never heard of Baby Metal or were not interested, but still they probably got a lot of new fans, maybe, I'm not sure. A lot of people listen to them.
Well, I think this is why your suggestion about a festival is such a good idea, is because they don't have to worry. I mean, I still think they should do a tour, because I think what Love Bites did and a lot of bands do is genius. You know, book venues are a little bit too small, and then you can say you've got a sold out tour and just add more venues if you want, because you'll sell it out really easily. And you can just test the water bit at a time. But if they don't want to do that, what you said about festivals is a perfect idea, because you can just turn up, you do it, you've got the photo opportunity, you've said you've been there, it's great, and then you've done the service for the European fans. They can't say you haven't been. So, but of course, we all know Band-Maid are going in 2025. It is totally confirmed, hypothetically. It's totally confirmed. So,
I was like I said, I was actually really surprised that they would actually tour on honestly this year, or at least announce a new tour. Because I honestly thought, personally, I know Band-Maid's always been like hella active. They seem to never take a break, but I actually genuinely thought that after this album, and especially after the tour they just done around America and stuff like that, and the tour that they're doing in Japan at present, I actually thought they'd take a couple of months off. I actually thought they'd probably come into we wouldn't hear anything from Band-Maid until like probably the latter part of 2025. I honestly thought they'd have at least a 6 month sort of like let's just chill out and veg kind of period. But no, they're jumping straight back into it. So props up to them for that.
You could argue that technically speaking, that the period before Epic Narratives was relatively slow rolling anyway, because of course we think about the fact they had a lot of the singles that led up to Epic Narratives coming out. But I feel like at the time they were just kind of like slow burning, just we want to do this song, we want to do that song. It didn't really feel like a hive of activity at the time. Like I say, I mean, they were doing a bit of touring and stuff, but it didn't.
They were in America a lot around that time though. They were hammering
true.
America.
But I think it felt a lot from their social media stuff. And of course, you can never tell from this, but I got the vibe that they just felt like it was a bit of a holiday and they were just kind of like traveling around. They was like, oh, having a holiday in America. I think a lot of their love for America comes from the fact that it was half a tour and half just, hey, let's go on like students go on hey, let's go to this continent. They were like, hey, let's travel across America. I think that was their mindset. And that's what gave us songs like Memorable because Memorable seems more like the song you'd have like a not saying it's juvenile, but it kind of gives the vibe of a song like a teenager would write after their first trip abroad. It's like, oh, we traveled on route. Was it?
I mean, the video kind of supports that, right?
Yeah, exactly. It feels more like, hey, we went on like a student holiday kind of thing more than anything. So I think I suspect the management did a really good job and the tour organizers did a really good job of making them feel on holiday. That they probably weren't.
I think I think that's important as well. I mean, like I said, if any of us ever hit the big time, I know that's probably not going to happen now for any of us in our lifetime, unfortunately, guys. So sorry to let you know.
Benedict will do it. Benedict's got it coming.
But that's definitely
got youth on his side.
That's definitely the way I would choose to personally tour. I know a lot of bands do like 6 months tour and they just play like night after night after night after night after night in different locations all the time, just constantly traveling. Personally, I wouldn't do that because if I went to like somewhere like, I don't know, like Stockholm or whatever, I'd want to play in that city, and then I'd want to at least spend a day in that city, having fun, going.
Probably a lot of people would want to do that, but I guess it's a financial thing. Like you have to shove out a certain amount of concerts to afford the tour.
Yeah, probably. It probably does come down to crunching the numbers and trying to maximize your profits quite a lot. But I quite like the thought of being able to tour and have fun along.
Because sometimes when I'm looking at the dates, it's like they are playing here, then they drive up thousands of kilometers over here, and then the next day they drive back over here. So
yeah,
really think it comes down to they have to get out these shows.
Yeah. When you see a lot of bands break up, or you see a lot of musicians sort of like give up on the music scene, it's 9 times out of 10 it's because of touring, because they can't adjust to the touring lifestyle, especially when they're hammered and they're going from city to city to city to city to city, no time with their families for like 6 months or a year or 2 years or however long the tour is, just constantly doing that takes a lot out of people.
I think there is that level, though, where you get to that level where you have enough people on your team, enough roadies, that you really, all you do, you turn up, your instruments are there, you tune, have a quick sound check, play the songs, and then afterwards you go out for a meal, whatever, get in the bus and you just travel to the next place. It's a nice big bus, you're comfortable, and you never see your equipment between. You're basically just literally having a road trip. And I think if it's organized like that, where you only really see your equipment before the show when you're setting up, and then when you play, then it's not like they hate their equipment or anything, but just you have that separation from that. And then in the times between, you are just literally on holiday in a really nice big bus and occasionally staying in nice, pretty hotels.
But I'm not sure if I would call staying in a bus a holiday.
Well, if it was like a nice tour bus, and then of course you are occasionally staying in hotels as well. If you've got enough money and enough roadies to do that, then I think that's the sort of thing. And let's face it, that is also your job and you're getting paid a lot for it. True. I think that's the sort of, and actually another thing, I was having a conversation with someone here, one of our channel followers, and we were talking about this attitude towards it. And I think there is something where, because a lot of Japanese bands on average tend to be more humble than certain other counterparts, I think there's a certain degree where they do smell the roses more and go, wow, I'm really lucky to be doing this. And it's like the urge to go, well, I don't like this. I have to sleep in a bus. It's less of a thing. They're more like, this is my job. This is my life. People like come out every night to see me. And it's like, yeah, I have to play the same songs over and over again. But it's like, people come out to see me. They want to see me. They want to know me. And I go on holiday and I see all these things that my other friends from school don't see. And I think there is a little bit of smelling the roses that makes them go, hey, you know what? It's a pretty good trade-off. I'd rather this than working in the local conveni. So, Yeah, I think there's probably an element of that. Is one of the reasons why Japanese female bands, especially because less ego, tend to have like a longevity thing on their side a lot of the time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was quite pleased or quite unexpected again to them announce did you say an EP as well?
Yeah, they
Um,
showed a little clip of a music video,
hmm.
and there's a single coming out in January, then the EP in May. Yeah, I mean, good for them. So they
Yeah,
announced it
that
as an
was
Then,
EP. I'm
yeah,
imagining it's going to be a mini album, basically. You know, it's all going to be new tracks rather than recycled ones. But who knows? And they
hopefully they
also said
won't
they're going
release 70% before.
to. Well, you never know. This EP could be us hearing half of the new album.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, please
We're
don't
going to
do
use
a
the
Ducks.
Ducks formula. The Ducks formula.
Don't do it.
So singles make a mini albums make an album, albums make a best of. Ducks.
Little best ofs.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, trying going to come out with a collection of all their albums sometime soon. Like after they've got 3 albums, that'll become a box set. Singles, mini albums, albums, box set.
Trident should have
Best of,
called
best
Ducks.
of.
Yeah, Trident should have called the album Suckers.
Hey, that's nah. Do you know what? I still love Trident. I still think it's a brilliant album, and I think if you didn't buy the mini albums, it's well worth buying. Yeah, but yeah, it's
Watch our episode about that if you want to.
yeah. Watch our episode if you want to see us argue this issue out, you can. And remember, if you buy something, check the track list, and if you already have the songs, just don't buy it.
Yeah,
True.
So yeah, to be honest, I'm kind of excited about it. I think with Band-Maid as well, I feel like you kind of know a band is losing their touch, or losing the spark. I would say they're not losing the touch, but losing their spark when an album comes out and it doesn't feel like it's discernibly either different from a previous album, or if it feels like they're just going back to like their heyday or something. And I do love the fact that Epic Narratives continued that trend, that every time Band-Maid have a release, it feels like, yeah, we had a vibe going on at the time, we had a feeling. It's like this album, it still sounds like Band-Maid, but it's got a slightly different feeling from the albums before. And I think, to me, Band-Maid still feel like they're enjoying it, they're fresh. We've heard so many songs from them now that they're obviously not going to suddenly shock us with something totally wild, but I just feel like they're still feeling fresh. So when they say there's a new EP coming out, well, we'll judge it from one disc to the next.
Unseen World was kind of that. Kind of, let's just shock everyone with how chaotic it can be.
Yeah, I mean they did. Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. They wanted to shock you how chaotic it was. I get that, but in the same way, that felt like they wanted to do it because it was a creative decision. It was like, hey, we want to do something wildly hectic here. I think that was coming off the back of Screaming. Like Screaming was a fan favorite when it came out. Like people really loved that song, and then that more high-pitched octave guitar sound and everything became something that Konami kept coming back to, and she clearly enjoyed it, the fans enjoyed it, but then I think they did that sound more than some fans liked. And yeah, it's always give and take, you're always going to win some people, lose some people with any creative.
The thing with that is it always felt like a natural progression rather than oh, we're doing this just to shock people, if that makes sense. It always felt like it went into that style naturally. It never felt forced. That's the best thing I can always say with Band-Maid and every album, even though every sound is like slightly
I would
changed.
prefer when they release something new, especially a group like Band-Maid, if they do something a bit more experimental that I personally don't like, I still prefer that than them just doing the same stuff over and over.
Totally, 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, if they do something totally different and I don't like it, I mean, I said this about 1OK Rock. I used to like 1OK Rock. I don't like them really anymore. But it's like I listened to it. I was like, no. I was like, but I listened to this. I listened to their stuff, and I'm like, well, they seem to enjoy it. So I'm like, all right, fair enough. It's a creative decision, And yeah, I think so long as you listen to a band, you go, well, they seem to have followed what they want to do. Then yeah,
I think in the case of 1OK Rock, I think they hit sort of like the mainstream, and I think they changed their music to follow the trend of the mass audience rather than sticking to kind of what they knew or where they kind of originally came from.
That.
Yeah,
a lot of people said that. I don't know if I agree with that, to be honest. I think they just liked the pop sound. It felt to me like they really enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't think it worked for them, but they lent into it. People liked it, and they seemed to like it.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at the sheer number of artists who Tucker worked with, it was clear that he was excited to work with all of these Western artists who had a more poppy sound. So I don't see Trent. I don't see Band-Maid doing that, even though we had like the Band-Maid warning song and stuff like that. I think again, they're just kind of having fun. They're enjoying what they do. Agree with Benedict. So long as the decisions feel natural.
Yeah,
I kind of had that with Hanabi, their latest album. I just didn't enjoy it as much as the one before.
We'll get onto that in the next video.
Just wanted to
That's
mention
the next video.
But I'm very much enjoying what they are trying to do and very much looking forward to what they will do next, because it's an evolving process and not like some stale, the same thing over and over.
So here's a little decision. Here's a little comment. I'm sure this will get lots of people pissed off in the comments. We have lots of arguments in here over this one. So Band-Maid seem to be now very certain of the fact they're going to do an annual acoustic set, which that seems to be something they've confirmed. And obviously, like Epic Narratives had some lovely mid-tempo kind of songs. You know, we had Memorable, which was, of course, that was a single, very acoustic focused. Do we think that maybe Band-Maid introducing a little bit of calm, mature, chilled out into their sound? Are they going to have a few more mid-tempo, chilled out songs? You know, maybe wind off
like
the
just for the future of Band-Maid, like the next release?
Yeah, do we think that they're reaching that sort of hey, let's have some contemplative, calm songs? I think it's good to have a mix. So actually, that's one of the reasons why I preferred Epic Narratives to Unseen World, is just because I felt it was more eclectic. I felt it had more of a mix of songs on there.
I don't think they will tone it down necessarily, to be honest. I don't think that's just their style. I mean, they do that with, just you mentioned, these separate acoustic sessions and all that. But I think their main sound will always stay rock, because I think if they would really go too far out and do like a really slow album, I think that might lose a lot of people, because that's just not what they want from Band-Maid. Band-Maid, you want energetic rock. At least that's the main thing I'm looking for when I want to hear Band-Maid.
Yeah, I always said before, like anybody like who knows me over the past couple of years can vouch for me in the comments for this one. But I always said that a Band-Maid would make an absolutely extraordinarily good acoustic band. And I said years in advance, I said I'd love them to do an acoustic set. So when that actually rolled round eventually for the first time, I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. And it was everything.
Nice.
It's really good. I mean, they already are a really amazing acoustic band.
Once that came around eventually, it was everything I hoped it would be. So going back to Howard's original point, I kind of agree with Benedict. I don't think they'll tone it down necessarily, but at the same time, I think some of these songs are built to be make a great acoustic song to slow down for sure.
You know what I could imagine would be maybe they will go some more the band Maiko direction, you know, infusing some more classical Japanese stuff into it. At least that's something I would love to hear.
We're well overdue a band fucking Maiko song, for fuck's sake. Like, make that happen. Like, I hope
like
that's
a whole album, like having more of that Japanese feel to it, you know.
By the way, I was just gonna say I have the threat on my phone of an important call coming in a moment. If that does happen, you two might have to end this episode together. We'll see if that happens.
Bullshit. He just wants to rush to the toilet for a poop.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, it's coming in. It's coming in. Sorry, I gotta take it.
He was drinking too much.
Has he got jazz? Was that a jazz ringtone? What the fuck?
Yeah, it was a saxophone, right?
A saxophone. What the fuck? All right,
that's something Band-Maid could also do, like some throw in some
I would love that.
out of the box instruments or like weird stuff.
Yeah, like saying what you said, going back to Band-Maker, actually, I would love that. Like, hopefully that will appear at some point on the EP. It's been way too long since they did that, but I would personally love like if we're geeking out and talking about band thing, I would love like just a 5-song mini album of just like Band-Maker like returning.
Yeah,
like I
you know the band Maiko songs, they are also more acoustic in I think, but I would love to hear that like melded with the typical really energetic rock stuff.
Yes,
so that could be a new direction that they haven't done before, at least.
Yeah, I feel like
Kind of gets difficult after so many albums to find new
Mm.
ways to do the same thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I personally love that. I know maybe like a few people would be like, nah, just keep it as it is. But again, I really love that stuff, and it just brought like that sort of like oriental flair to their music a little bit. It was a nice perfect blend for me between like Band-Maid as we know and love them, but like kind of like Wagagi band, sort of like
Yeah,
sprinkled
exactly.
in. And I was just like, you know what, I love this. And the fact that we've had nothing for like what 3-4 years now, maybe 5 coming on, it's
Yeah,
been a while. Matt, we're way overdue due that one. I don't know if they previously said something that they're like done with that or anything. So
I
if
have no
anybody,
idea actually.
yeah, if anybody can tell us in the comments about that, like if they said they were ever going to go back to that or not. But I personally would love that. I
I
think,
mean,
yeah,
possibly
sprinkle
they
that in.
will include some stuff like that on the new EP next year.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
I mean,
s-
we'll have to see about the first single that will maybe give us some
some,
intel about
yeah,
what the EP will be about.
yeah. But
Hello, Howard.
yeah,
Welcome
but
back.
Hi.
just give me that. You see, that wasn't a phone call. That was too quick. You got rid of that turtle
Yeah.
head in
Just
lightning
started
fast
a song
fashion.
on his phone. Oh, I'm getting a call.
Oh, I'm getting a call. Quickly runs to the toilet. He's not denying it. He's
Good
like,
call.
yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah,
a
yeah.
satisfying call. Oh, wash my hands
What
after
was that
that call.
ringtone, by the way? It sounded like a
Oh, it's my
saxophone.
sax. Yeah, it's my saxophone ringtone. I like the saxophone ringtone. I know. I'm just too classy. I'm too classy for this channel.
Okay.
Just a ringtone, not a song. Okay.
No, it's one of the inbuilt ringtones, but it's like the saxophone one because I had a couple of them before and they were just too jarring. But the saxophone one's just that right level of like makes you go huh, and like doesn't cause you to have like an immediate nosebleed. You know, so
We were saying
it's that
like,
right level.
what would you say about saxophone in Band-Maid? You know, just do some
Fucking yes. Well,
instruments
I
that you
heard
wouldn't expect.
Yeah, I heard that like STMLT, like Stimulate. I still haven't heard one of the songs with a saxophonist on, but apparently they had a
Yeah.
saxophonist in the band before. And I've always said this. I'm always for bands who throw in like that X Factor sound that is something that you don't usually hear. This is why I'm a big supporter of bands who have a keyboard player in there because you know the keyboard player can technically play any sound they want. And you know, Band-Maid have always been when it comes to those bands who just have the contemporary instruments, they're probably an easy favorite for me. But I do think that it's nice when they do things like go acoustic or add other sounds. I mean, I love Start Over because it might not be their best song, but I just love the fact that there's the piano in there. And, you know, Konami's on the piano. It's like she can play piano. Now
Yeah.
Psyche can too. Have piano on some more songs. You know, I think that there's nothing. You know, Band-Maid have never been afraid with experimenting with their sound and doing different things. We have Band Maiko, but I think as you were implying before, a lot of times when they do stuff that is a bit odd, they don't put it on the album. You know, like Start Over, not an album track. You know, About Us, not an album
they
track.
might
The
be a bit
acoustic stuff, with
afraid
exception to
to
Memorable, appeared on the album.
put off their fans.
Rock the Boat. I think they're slowly coming around to that. I mean, obviously, we saw on Concrete was amazing when they started with like Page, as I've always said, but then you know. Was a single that appeared on the album. I feel like they might be warming up to doing some more odd things. And like you said about we're really overdue for another band, Maiko. I agree. And yeah, saxophone on the track. Let's have a bit of fun. Although there was a bit of saxophone on that one, as you pointed out. There's like that one little quick run of saxophone on one of the songs on Epic Narratives. Was it the one?
I think yeah.
That little run of saxophone in the middle where all of us were like, what?
Yeah.
More saxophone.
Baby Metal did the same thing on The Legend. There's no saxophone on the album, just on The Legend, a little line.
It's right. We
Just
can't
makes
do a
you
single
go,
video
"Whoa,
without
what's
mentioning
that
Baby
sax?"
Metal.
No, but just it really works in my opinion because just
we got to
mix
do
it up.
we got to do the Christopher Walken thing. Sorry, more saxophone, not cowbell, more saxophone.
More saxophone.
Yeah. You need to
Oh
do
my god!
weird sentencing.
Hey, I was imagining the GIF in my mind, imagining the meme. It was all good in my mind. I saw the joke correctly.
Cowbell.
That was actually a surprisingly good, like Christopher Walken impression coming on there. Yeah, I I'm excited for next year when it comes to Band-Maid, but there's also a degree of trepidation. You know, I mean, there's always the ways that you could be like disappointed. Like again, like I say, if they just amount like a bunch of US tours and no Europe, then I think I would feel disappointed for like the European fans, and I feel like it would be a major dropped ball. But we'll see. I think they're going to announce Europe. I stay confident. I stay hopeful.
I stay confident now. I don't think they'll drop the ball on this. I think there'll be too many.
Do a
too,
last
too
reload
many...
of the page. Any new info? No.
Yeah, F5 it, my man. F5 it.
Nothing.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think they'll not announce at least some European dates. Hypothetically, though, let's say they don't announce European dates, but they do the European festival like sort of run. Would that be acceptable?
I mean, look, just put your feet on the ground somewhere in Europe, play some music to someone. You run up to a homeless person, play a song acoustic, and run off, and we'll go. Look, at least it's a start.
I would also say just come here, do whatever you want. Go festivals, do a really little venues, whatever. But just start somewhere.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I just kind of like I really
3 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, no, I don't mind so long as they kind of get that started. Because of course I'm not in Europe anymore, but I do feel when a band you love, just for some reason isn't coming to where you are. So I really do hope from the European fans' perspective, and I believe that they'll announce it. I think this has got to be that point. It's got to be that point. But either way, I'm really excited about the new single. Really excited about the new EP. The clip of the music video for the new single, it looks like it's directed by that same person who directs 90% of their videos, because it's exactly that style. So he picked a room.
Is there sound as well? Is there sound as well for this?
We heard a little bit of sound on the clip. Yeah.
So I haven't heard it. Like, does it sound like you would imagine Band-Maid to sound, or is there anything that sounds new and interesting?
It doesn't sound like it's out of left field. It sounds like a single. You know, it sounds like what you'd expect from a Band-Maid. You know, like when we first heard stuff like Protect You and Shambles, we were like, okay, it's interesting, it's new, but it sounds like a Band-Maid thing.
We got like 2.5 minutes yet left. The one thing I didn't ask you is, how was the show, Howard, by the way? Give us a quick little mini roundup.
True. So obviously big thank you to Jan, who I think it was Jan who organized all of it for me to go to both of the days. So big thank you to him. Jeff there as well. So big thank you to the whole bunch for being so accommodating. But yeah, basically the show was great. It's in one of the Zepp venues. You know, Zepp venues, they have usually good sound and everything, but they are the most soulless of venues. They're basically just large cubes, and there's not really. Ironically, the Line Cube has more personality than most Zepp venues. They're all exactly the same, but they are good auditoriums. Once the show starts and you're focused on them, then they're a great place to see live music. Both nights were great. I felt that everyone who we spoke to preferred the first night, but I've got to be honest, I felt the second night they sounded much more polished. There's even a couple of wrong notes on the first night, but the second night they felt much tighter. But yeah, like the conversation MC bits were longer on the first night and things like that. And the set list was very similar on both nights, but it was Band-Maid being their usual very good selves. The show, just the performance was fun, exciting. It was everything you wanted from Band-Maid, basically. And they did an encore on the second night. I've never seen them do an encore ever before, but they came back out and they played Choose Me Again. But they did an encore, which I thought that was like against the law for like Band-Maid. I thought Band-Maid weren't allowed. It's like Band-Maid doing an encore. Like people started cheering for an encore. I was like, this is not going to happen. What are you doing? And then they came back out like, oh my God, what's going on? Like the world, it's like we're sucked into a black hole.
Illegal. Arrest them.
So you can't do it.
Get your asses back up stage.
Nah, but it was really lovely, and great energy. They rounded off the year, big announcement, all good fun. So I'm excited for 2025. Excited for Band-Maid. We're going to be bringing us a lot of awesome things. Really excited to hear the new song, but especially excited to hear the new EP. Hear what sound they go for. And
hopefully Neon and me can also see them live, hear them live for once. For real.
Hopefully you guys can tell us what you think in the comments. Get in there, let us know. We're looking forward to hearing all of that. But until we do, remember to keep your ears to the east. 10 seconds. Move your arms. Make hand actions. Your cat will come and jump on the keyboard again now.
Oh no, I'll close the door. I made fucking sure.